There was a time when Thomas Edison worked for days without sleep, his hands stained with oil and ink, his lab filled with failures and flickering ideas, and no one knew his name. There was a time when Steve Jobs was fired from his own company and disappeared into silence, only to return years later and reshape the world. There was a time when Elon Musk was sleeping on the floor of his office, too broke to afford rent, while others mocked his dreams. Every legend you know today had a season of silence. A season where they vanished into the shadows to build, to learn, to prepare. You see, the world loves the spotlight. It celebrates the moment of glory, but it forgets the years of darkness that made that glory possible. The crowd only sees the performance, they never see the practice. But the smart ones, the true visionaries, they understand that success doesn't happen under applause. It happens in the quiet, lonely hours when no one's watching, when no one believes, when it's just you, your will, and your work. Smart people don't need to announce their dreams. They breathe life into them in silence. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They disappear and do it. They don't chase validation. They chase evolution. They know that real success doesn't need noise. It needs focus. Every empire that ever stood, every masterpiece ever painted, every invention that changed humanity was once just an idea crafted in silence by someone obsessed with mastery, not attention. The wise know that noise fades, but results echo. They understand that people forget words, but they never forget impact. So, while the world is busy performing, the smart ones are perfecting. While others are talking, they're training. While others seek the spotlight, they're building the light itself. And one day, when the time is right, their silence roars. The world wakes up and calls it luck. But it wasn't luck, it was discipline. It was patience. It was the courage to work in darkness until the dream was ready for the light. So if you're watching this and you feel unseen, unheard, underestimated, remember this silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. The world may not recognize you now, but if you keep moving, keep working, keep believing, one day it won't be able to ignore you. Because this, right here, is how smart people succeed in silence. Silence is power. It's not emptiness, it's not weakness, and it's not the absence of action. It's the quiet force that builds empires, the invisible current that drives creation, and the discipline that separates the wise from the restless. In a world obsessed with noise, where everyone wants to be seen, heard, and validated, silence has become the rarest form of strength. The one who can stay silent in a loud world is the one who truly understands their own power. Smart people know that silence isn't the absence of thought, it's the perfection of focus. It's in silence that ideas are born, decisions are refined, and strength is gathered. Every great thinker, every visionary, every legend understood this. They weren't constantly talking about their plans. They were quietly working on them. They didn't need applause while building. They knew the applause would come when the work was done. Silence is where greatness prepares itself. It's the hidden workshop where success is crafted long before the world ever witnesses it. Silence allows the mind to listen, not to the noise of opinions, but to the voice of intuition. When you become still, you begin to hear the truth that gets lost in the chaos. The world screams for attention, but your purpose whispers. It calls you softly in the stillness of your thoughts. That's why smart people retreat into silence, to hear that whisper clearly. They understand that constant talking dissipates energy, but quiet concentration multiplies it. Every word you speak takes energy from your thoughts. Every moment of silence gives it back. Think of nature, the seed grows in silence beneath the soil. The roots expand unseen, and the strength of the tree comes not from what's visible, but from what was quietly built underground. The same is true for people. Those who understand the power of silence build their strength unseen. They prepare, they plan, they grow in private. And when the time comes, they rise unstoppable. The loud ones make noise early, but the silent ones endure. Silence also builds emotional power. The one who can remain quiet when provoked. The one who can choose calm when others choose chaos. That person holds true control. Smart people don't react to everything that seeks their attention. They respond only to what serves their purpose. Silence gives them time to think, to see things clearly, to understand before they act. While others burn energy on argument and attention-seeking, the wise conserve it for progress. It's not that smart people are cold or detached. They are strategic. They know that words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. They understand that every time you speak about your plans, you give away a piece of your power. You give people the chance to doubt you, discourage you, or copy you. So they protect their energy, their ideas, and their dreams behind the shield of silence. They move quietly, strike effectively, and let their success echo where words once would have been. Silence also teaches patience, and patience is power. The impatient seek quick validation. The wise wait for the right moment. Silence sharpens your timing. It gives you the ability to wait without losing faith, to prepare without needing praise. The world rewards the patient, the consistent, and the calm. In silence, you learn to trust the process, to let time do its work. You realize that storms may make noise, but growth happens quietly. Every great revolution began in silence. Every invention, every breakthrough, every work of art was first an unspoken thought in someone's mind. The creator did not need an audience in the beginning. They needed solitude, they needed focus, they needed silence. Because silence is where imagination breathes. It's where the mind connects ideas, where visions become plans, and where clarity replaces confusion. Without silence, thought is scattered. With silence, it becomes sharp and unstoppable. Silence also builds mystery, and mystery builds respect. The person who speaks less is often the one others listen to more. The one who moves quietly creates curiosity. When you say little, people notice more. When you reveal nothing, they assume everything. This psychological power is known by every great leader. Smart people don't overshare because they know that silence commands attention far more than words. In silence, you also find peace, and peace is strength. A noisy mind cannot create, cannot plan, cannot grow. The wise guard their mental space like a fortress. They avoid gossip, drama, and unnecessary conflict because they understand one thing clearly: chaos destroys focus. And focus is the currency of success. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of clarity. It's the calm center that allows you to see the world as it is and act with precision. There's also a spiritual power in silence. When you learn to quiet the noise of the world, you begin to connect with something greater. Your purpose, your intuition, your inner truth. You begin to realize that your power doesn't come from how much noise you make, but from how deeply you understand yourself. Silence allows you to align your actions with your purpose, your vision with your values. It gives you depth, substance, and inner balance. Silence is not weakness. It's restraint, it's control, it's mastery. Anyone can talk, few can listen. Anyone can boast, few can build. The strong are silent because they don't need to prove themselves. They are too busy becoming themselves. Their silence is not a lack of confidence, it's a declaration of power. Because when you truly know who you are, you no longer need the world's approval to validate it. In the end, silence is the foundation of greatness. It's where the mind becomes sharp, the spirit becomes strong, and purpose becomes unshakable. When you master silence, you master yourself. When you master yourself, you master your world. So choose silence. Let others chase attention, you chase excellence. Let others speak about their dreams, you work on yours. Let others perform for the crowd, you perform for your destiny. Because in the end, the loudest voice in the room will fade, but the one who built in silence, their results will echo forever. Silence is not your weakness. It is your weapon, your wisdom, and your ultimate source of power. Work speaks louder than words. Those 5 words carry the essence of every success story humanity has ever written. You can speak of dreams, you can post your goals, you can promise the world who you'll become, but none of it matters until your work proves it. Talk fades, but results echo. The truly wise, the truly smart, understand this eternal law of the world listens not to your intentions, but to your execution. People may ignore what you say, but they will never ignore what you've done. In an age where everyone wants to be seen working instead of actually working, the ones who rise are the ones who stay focused on the grind. The loud ones talk about what they'll do someday. The quiet ones are already doing it today. The talkers chase recognition, the doers chase mastery. And when the results come, the difference becomes undeniable. You can pretend to be anything with your words, but your work will always reveal who you really are. Every great creator, every successful entrepreneur, every champion in history shared one silent habit. They let their work speak for them. They didn't need to convince anyone of their potential. They showed it through relentless effort. Michael Jordan didn't have to tell the world he was the greatest. His performance on the court did it for him. Leonardo da Vinci didn't need to explain his genius. His art spoke what words never could. The same truth applies to you. Your work will be your voice, your proof, your legacy. Words can inspire, but work transforms. Words can motivate, but work builds. The power of work is that it leaves evidence, tangible, unarguable proof of discipline and dedication. When your work is consistent, your results become your defense. You never have to explain your worth, your progress will do it. You never have to argue your talent, your results will make it undeniable. The quiet pursuit of excellence will always outshine loud promises. The wise understand that talking about goals is often the enemy of achieving them. When you speak too soon, You feel a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain releases the satisfaction of having done something, even when you haven't. That's why the disciplined ones stay silent. They know that energy is sacred. Every word you speak about your dream takes a small piece of that energy away. Every hour you spend telling the world what you'll do could have been spent doing it. The difference between success and mediocrity often lies in where that energy goes. Into talk or into work. Work is honest. It never lies. You can deceive others with charm, you can impress them with talk, but you cannot fake consistent effort. Work is the mirror that reflects your truth. It exposes your priorities, your habits, your hunger. And that's why those who truly want to win don't waste time convincing anyone. They just work. They understand that the world may doubt them now, but when results appear, doubt will turn into respect. Every moment you spend working silently adds invisible layers to your foundation. You may not see immediate results, and that's where most people quit. But the smart ones keep going. They know that progress doesn't shout, it whispers. Growth happens quietly, gradually, until one day the results are too loud to ignore. Every rep, every late night, every small improvement accumulates until it becomes greatness. The world often glorifies the spotlight, but real success is built in the shadows. It's in those unseen hours of effort, repetition, and resilience that you shape your destiny. When no one is clapping for you, when no one believes in you, when it's just you and your work, that's when you're being forged. The reward for that kind of discipline isn't applause, it's transformation. You become sharper, stronger, more capable. And when the time comes, your results will roar louder than any words ever could. Work doesn't need validation, it demands respect. A person who produces consistent results becomes undeniable. You don't have to beg people to see your worth. They'll see it in your output. You don't have to prove your value through speeches. Your excellence will prove it for you. Smart people understand this, that real confidence is built through action. Every time you do the work, you deposit a brick into the structure of your future. Every day you show up, you strengthen your foundation. The greatest power of work is that it silences doubt, both from others and from within. When you work, you replace uncertainty with evidence. You give your mind something real to stand on. You begin to see results, and those results create belief. That belief fuels more action, and soon your work becomes a self-sustaining force. The ones who struggle are often the ones who wait to feel ready before they act. The wise don't wait. They act, and readiness follows. They move and clarity arrives. Work also has a way of revealing character. Talkers want praise, workers want progress. Talkers crave attention, workers crave mastery. Talkers hope someone notices, workers know that eventually no one will be able to ignore them. The difference is mindset. The talker wants approval now. The worker wants victory later. One is fueled by ego, the other by purpose. And purpose always wins in the long run. When you dedicate yourself to your craft, your silence becomes sacred. You stop needing to explain what you're doing because you know what's coming. You begin to understand the rhythm of success. First you plant, then you water, then you wait, and finally you harvest. Each stage requires a different kind of patience and a different kind of work. Smart people accept this rhythm. They don't rush, they don't boast. They simply keep building until the world can't deny what they've created. There's a quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing you're putting in the work while others are still talking about it. It builds inner confidence, not arrogance, but certainty. You stop comparing, stop competing, and start creating. Because once you're immersed in your purpose, the noise outside doesn't matter anymore. The applause fades, the opinions blur, but your work, your creation, your progress, your growth remains. At the end of the day, words disappear with time. They're forgotten as soon as they're spoken. But your work, your results, endure. The bridge you build, the art you create, the life you design, these things outlive you. They become your voice long after you're gone. And that's what the smart ones understand, that their true legacy is not in what they said, but in what they did. So let your work speak. Let your actions write your story. Let your results be your response. When the world doubts you, work harder. When they mock your silence, build louder. You don't need to tell them who you are. Your achievements will tell them for you. You don't need to convince anyone of your vision. Your results will convert them. Because in the end, the loudest sound in the world is success. And success speaks only one language: work. So talk less, do more. Build quietly, move relentlessly. And remember, the world may not hear your words, but it will never forget your work. Growth happens in private. True transformation doesn't begin under the spotlight. It begins in silence, in solitude. In those unseen moments when no one is clapping, no one is watching, and no one believes in you yet. The world only sees the final version of success, the finished product, the confident smile, the applause. But what they don't see are the countless invisible hours that came before it, the sacrifices, the discipline, the quiet battles fought in the dark. Every strong, unstoppable person you admire today once went through a season of isolation, a time where they were learning, building, and becoming in private, because that's where real growth takes place. Away from noise, away from judgment, and away from the distractions of the world. Private growth is where you shape the person you're becoming. It's not glamorous, and it's not easy. It's long nights of work when your energy is gone, days of doubt when results seem distant, and countless failures that no one will ever hear about. It's in those silent hours that character is formed. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you're being stretched, challenged, and refined. The pain you feel in private becomes the power you show in public. The tears that no one sees become the foundation of your strength. The smart ones understand this. They don't seek validation during their season of growth. They seek mastery. They know that every great breakthrough demands a period of isolation. Just as a seed must be buried underground before it can reach the light, you too must go through your private season of development before your greatness can emerge. While the world rushes for recognition, the wise retreat into discipline. They train their minds, sharpen their skills, and build quietly, because they know that when the time comes, the results will speak louder than any words ever could. Private growth requires patience. You won't always see progress right away. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if the effort is worth it. But every moment of work you put in, every habit you build, every ounce of discipline you practice, it's accumulating even when you can't see it. Growth is like the roots of a tree, invisible but vital. Without strong roots, the tallest tree will collapse in the first storm. Without private growth, public success is fragile. The quiet preparation you do now is what will allow you to stand strong when the world finally sees you. In private, you face yourself, your fears, your weaknesses, your excuses. It's where you discover who you truly are when no one's around to impress. It's easy to act confident when the world is watching, but real strength is built in moments of solitude. It's in those hours when you could give up, when no one would know if you did, that your future is decided. The battles you fight alone, with laziness, with doubt, with distraction, are the ones that shape your destiny. Every time you push through, you become stronger, sharper, more focused. You begin to evolve into the person who can handle the success you're chasing. Private growth also protects you from the noise of the world. The more people you allow into your process, the more opinions, doubts, and distractions you invite. Growth demands focus, and focus demands quiet. That's why the smartest people distance themselves when they're building. They don't isolate out of arrogance, they isolate out of purpose. They understand that the wrong environment can kill the right idea. They step back from the noise so they can hear their inner voice, the one that knows what they're capable of, even when no one else sees it. Every master was once a beginner who practiced in private. Every great athlete, every artist, every entrepreneur spent years behind closed doors perfecting their craft while the world was silent. They failed quietly, they learned quietly, and eventually they succeeded loudly. The world called them overnight successes, but those nights were filled with invisible labor, years of unseen dedication. That's the truth most people overlook. Success is born in private long before it's celebrated in public. Growth in private also teaches humility. When no one's watching, there's no praise to feed your ego. You work because you must, not because it looks impressive. You learn to depend on discipline, not validation. You realize that greatness isn't about being seen. It's about becoming capable. That humility is what keeps you grounded when success finally comes. It reminds you where you started and how much you had to endure to get there. The season of private growth is also a season of testing. The universe will test your patience, your commitment, your faith. It will make you wait longer than you want, work harder than you thought, and sacrifice more than you imagined. But that's the process of strengthening you. You're being molded into someone who can not only reach success but sustain it. Because success without strength collapses. Fame without foundation fades. But when you've built yourself in silence, nothing can shake you. You must also understand that private growth is lonely, and that's okay. Growth requires separation. You will outgrow people, habits, and environments that no longer align with your vision. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes. Not everyone can breathe where you're headed. The silence you feel during this season isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're not being left behind, you're being refined. The world may forget you now, but when you emerge, They'll remember you forever. Don't rush your growth just to prove something to the world. The world will still be there when you're ready. Focus on the invisible work. Study when others sleep. Practice when others quit. Build when no one's applauding. Every day you commit to growing privately, you're planting the seeds of an extraordinary future. The results may not show yet, but they're coming, and when they arrive, they'll be undeniable. Remember, a diamond isn't created in comfort. It's created under pressure, in darkness, in silence. The fire that refines you in private will make you shine in public. The struggles you endure alone are shaping the version of you that the world will one day admire. So don't despise your quiet season. Embrace it, respect it, use it. Because when the lights finally shine on you, you won't just be ready, you'll be unstoppable. The noise of the world will no longer distract you because you've already mastered yourself in silence. You'll speak through your results, and your results will tell your story better than words ever could. Growth happens in private. It's where strength is born, where character is forged, and where destiny begins. Protect your process. Stay patient. Keep building when no one's watching. Because one day the world will witness the person you became in silence, and they'll call it success. But you'll know the truth, it was private growth that made it all possible. Discipline over display. That's the unspoken rule of every truly successful person. The world today is addicted to showing off progress instead of making it. Everyone wants to be seen, everyone wants applause. Everyone wants validation before they've even built anything real. But the smart ones know that display without discipline is hollow. They don't waste time impressing people, they invest time improving themselves. Because success doesn't come from how loudly you shout about your dreams, it comes from how quietly you work on them every single day. Discipline is the foundation of greatness. It's the ability to keep showing up when no one's watching, to keep doing the work when motivation dies, and to keep pushing forward even when you're tired, uninspired, and uncertain. Display is temporary. It fades the moment attention shifts, but discipline is permanent. It becomes who you are. It's the invisible force that transforms average people into legends. The disciplined don't need to talk about what they're doing. They prove it through consistent action. They understand that it's better to be respected for results than to be admired for appearances. The truth is, display feeds the ego, but discipline feeds the soul. The world has enough talkers. What it lacks are doers. It's easy to post your goals, to announce your plans, to speak about your vision. But it takes real power to quietly build it, brick by brick, while everyone else is distracted by noise. Smart people don't chase attention because they know attention is cheap. They chase mastery because mastery endures. They'd rather be underestimated in silence than overexposed in mediocrity. Discipline is the great separator. It's what divides the dreamers from the achievers, the loud from the legendary. It's not talent that guarantees success. It's consistency. Talent fades without discipline. Intelligence loses its edge without structure. Motivation dies without routine. But discipline stays. It doesn't rely on feelings or circumstances. It becomes your compass when you're lost, your engine when you're tired, your armor when life tests you. Those who live for display burn out fast because their energy depends on recognition. When people stop clapping, they stop moving. But those who live by discipline never stop, because their fire burns from within. They're not chasing applause, they're chasing excellence. They don't need validation, they seek evolution. Every day they fight the small battles. To wake up early, to stay focused, to do what must be done even when they don't feel like it. That's what builds power. That's what builds success that lasts. There's a reason the greatest minds, athletes, and creators of history were known for their discipline. Think of the inventors who spent years experimenting in solitude, failing thousands of times before achieving success. Think of the athletes who train before dawn while the rest of the world sleeps. Think of the thinkers and artists who disappear from the public eye, not because they've failed, but because they're mastering their craft. These people don't need to display their progress every day, because their focus is sacred. Their discipline is stronger than their desire for attention. Display gives temporary satisfaction, but discipline gives permanent transformation. The quiet worker doesn't care if people notice. They care if they improve. They understand that every minute spent seeking validation is a minute stolen from becoming better. So, they channel their energy into creation, into progress, into refinement. When you build with discipline, you build something that lasts. Not a temporary spark, but a lasting flame that keeps burning long after the noise fades. There's something powerful about a person who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Someone who's content working in silence, who's confident enough to stay low until the results are undeniable. That's the essence of discipline. Humility mixed with power. The disciplined don't chase opportunities. They prepare so well that opportunities chase them. They don't wait for motivation. They act because action itself fuels their drive. Every day you choose between two lives. One of discipline or one of display. One gives you short-term pleasure, the other gives you long-term peace. The path of display feels good now but leaves you empty later. The path of discipline feels hard now but rewards you forever. Discipline teaches you patience, endurance, and self-respect. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. You don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps. Most people give up because they confuse visibility with progress. Just because others can't see your growth doesn't mean it's not happening. The disciplined understand that growth is slow, invisible, and often lonely. But that's what makes it powerful. They don't measure success by likes or comments. They measure it by their improvement from yesterday. They don't care about being noticed. They care about being better. Discipline also gives you control. When you master yourself, you master your future. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You become the kind of person who keeps promises, not just to others, but to yourself. You start trusting yourself again because you've proven that you can stay consistent even when it's hard. That's a power most people never achieve. The power of self-trust. And that power makes you unstoppable. The display-driven world will try to pull you in. It will tempt you to show off your progress, to seek approval, to chase the spotlight. But remember, while others are performing, you're preparing. While they're posting, you're perfecting. And when the time comes, when the world finally sees your work, they won't see a performance, they'll see a masterpiece. Because discipline creates results that even the loudest display can't compete with. Discipline is not glamorous, but it's glorious. It's quiet, but it's powerful. It's slow, but it's sure. It builds something inside you that can't be shaken: resilience, focus, and strength. It gives you the courage to keep going when no one believes, and the patience to wait until your time arrives. So don't seek the noise. Seek the grind. Don't chase attention. Chase excellence. Be the one who moves in silence, who builds in private, who grows through routine. Let others display, you discipline. Let others talk, you act. Let others seek validation, you seek growth. Because when your results finally speak, they will echo louder than any words ever could. The world won't just see what you did, they'll feel who you became. And that is the true power of discipline over display. Every great journey begins in silence, in the stillness of thought, in the solitude of work, in the quiet space where discipline, patience, and purpose are born. The truly wise know that success isn't built on noise, it's built on consistency, intention, and quiet confidence. We've spoken about the power of silence, the strength of unseen work, and the art of growing privately. And now, as we stand at the end of this message, remember this: the world doesn't need to see your process, it will feel your results. The universe rewards those who act, not those who announce. The people who make the greatest impact aren't the ones constantly speaking about what they'll do. They're the ones doing it while everyone else is distracted. They don't waste time chasing applause or seeking permission. They move in silence because they understand that noise dilutes focus. They understand that the loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. Power belongs to the calm, the composed, the consistent. Your silence is your sanctuary. It's where clarity is born. It's where your ideas take form and your purpose finds direction. Every hour you spend in focused work, every sacrifice you make when no one is watching, every day you commit to progress, that's your edge. The world may not recognize it yet, but when the time comes, it will have no choice but to. Because true success doesn't need to be announced, it becomes impossible to ignore. You see, the path to greatness isn't crowded. It's quiet. Few choose it because it's uncomfortable. It demands patience when you crave results, discipline when you crave ease, and faith when you crave proof. But that's what makes it powerful. The silent builders are the ones who rise above, because they're too busy growing to care about being seen. They understand that display fades, but mastery lasts forever. Let this truth guide you: don't rush your process. Don't compare your chapter of silence to someone else's moment of applause. Keep your head down. Keep working. Keep believing. Every ounce of effort you give in silence will one day echo across the world as your success story. You owe it to yourself to stay disciplined, to trust your timing, and to honor your growth even when no one else sees it. Because one day they will, and when they do, Your results will speak with a power no words can match. So as you leave this message today, carry this mindset with you. Move in silence, act with purpose, and let your results make the noise. Success doesn't need a stage. It just needs your consistency. Thank you for listening, for believing in your journey, and for daring to grow quietly in a world obsessed with noise. Keep walking your path with courage and conviction. Your silence today is shaping a strength that the world will soon witness. Stay humble, stay focused, and never forget, your time is coming.